Hey, so I had a conversation with one of my students, and what that really did was just made me think I need to go live and talk about this, talk about paying off debt because essentially they are in debt and they feel overwhelmed, they feel frustrated about it, and they don't know exactly what they should do. They're unsure of what they should do. So let's talk about it. Yes. So like I said, sometimes when it feels like you have a lot of debt and you don't know exactly how you can pay that debt off, it might seem frustrating. It might feel like something that you're incapable of doing. It might seem like you are overwhelmed, you're in over your head. And unfortunately, it's natural to feel that way. That's a part of the process. But I want to come give you, like, I don't have much time today, but I wanted to jump on here and give you some great tips of what you should do if you find yourself in that situation. Now, paying off debt, let me tell you first how it can benefit you and what might be the problem. When you constantly have so much debt that you're paying every time you get paid, it's eating up your paycheck. So every time you get paid, they're waiting for them to get paid. So you have to work to eliminate that debt so that you can keep more of your money in your pocket. Now, for me personally, the problem that made me start going ahead and changing the way that I was moving with my money was I got tired. I felt like I knew that I had more for me. I was, I had paid off debt before and got my credit together, bought a house, and went through that whole journey. If you haven't heard my journey, look at one of my other lives on YouTube. But I did all of that. And then afterwards, I found myself right back in debt. And I had like $57,000 in debt. And I'm like, this not it. Because every time I got paid, I essentially was broke as soon as I got paid because I had to give all my money to them. So I came to the conclusion with myself. I had a talk with myself and was like, yeah, no, this not gonna work for me. This is not gonna work. I have my daughter to take care of. I'm trying to live, and so I decided that I was gonna do something about it. And that's what I did. So once I made that decision, I had to sit down and get some clear goals, first of all, of why I wanted to do this and why it was important. I had to secondly look at how did we get here? Because too many times we focus on the solution or we focus on what we're trying to get to. Thank you. Thank you so much. They said my hair is so long. But yeah, so we focus on the solution of what we're going to do to fix it, but we don't focus on how we get here. And focusing on how you got there is not a blame game. It's a certain process to it. It's figuring out what your money script is. It's figuring out how you use money and all of those things. So once I was able to get down to that and figure that out exactly what I was doing to contribute to it, because you can't go further until you look into the mirror first. So I'm having a webinar July 30th. It's completely free. Sign up in my bio. And basically, it's going to help you get down to the answer to this question. How do you pay off debt? So once I figured out what I was doing to contribute to it, I started to take steps to improve it. And then I went and I wrote down exactly what it was I needed to do. How much debt do I have? How much do I owe them? What's the interest rate? What's the minimum payment? And one of the things that I have people look up to, that I always have my financial coaching clients look up, I have them look up exactly how much they got charged that month in interest. Look up how much you got charged. So make a list, and you can put this on a computer or you can write it down yourself. But look and see how much you owe, what the interest rate is, what your minimum payment is. And then that last column is going to be how much interest you are paying every month. You see me? Because that's a very important number, because if you're paying that much in interest every single month, that's the amount of money that's just leaving out your pocket, especially when you're making a payment. If your payment that you're making is less then that amount, then you're automatically losing. You're walking into the month losing just from the beginning of it. So I want to help people figure out exactly what that process looks like. I wanted to help people figure out how to release that frustration. So what I did was I did that. Once I got down and isolated exactly what money I had coming in to actually pay off this debt and get these things done, then I started making a plan. I gave myself a timeline of when I wanted to have these things done by. And I'm not giving myself a timeline so that I can feel bad if I don't meet it. I gave myself a timeline so I can hold myself to something. I gave myself a timeline so I could be accountable to the goals that I set for myself and I put out there to say I was going to do. I gave myself a timeline because it was necessary in order for me to get the job done. So once I did that, I was able to clearly see, one, the weight was lifted off my chest because now I at least know exactly what it is I have to do. I know exactly what the task is in front of me. I don't feel overwhelmed and flustered and feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'll never be able to do this, because now I know exactly what needs to be done. And we don't realize how much taking that simple step makes us feel better and lifts a weight, because we don't feel like we're in the unknown anymore. We don't feel like we're in uncharted territory anymore. So what I always have my customers do is that exact thing. Once you move past that, now you create a plan of exactly what you're going to do. And that plan that you're going to create is going to say, okay, well, I have this much money left over after I pay my bills. I'm going to dedicate this much money to pay off debt. I'm going to dedicate this much money to invest. I'm going to dedicate this much money to my savings, because you got to save at the same time that you're paying off debt. Because if you don't save, then that's going to cause you to spend money that you don't need to be spending whenever an unexpected expense comes up, when something comes up that you weren't really, looking to do, your car, just anything. Like, life is always life. And so it's always something that comes up that might need to be paid that you weren't expecting to pay. If you don't have a savings saved up for it, guess where that money going to come from? Where you think it's going to have to come from? You're going to have to go and charge it on a credit card that you was just paying off. And that's one of the most discouraging things that can happen, because just imagine this. You're paying off your bills. You doing good. You feeling good. You seeing that balance start to go down, and you like, okay. And then now you get a flat tire or something happened with your car, and now you got to go and take money off that same card to pay it off because you don't have savings. So people always come to me and ask me that question, like, if I'm paying off debt, should I save at the same time that I'm paying off debt, or should I wait till I pay the debt off to save? I say do both. If I got $100, I can send $50 to my savings and $50 to my debt. I can send $25 to my savings and $75 to my debt. But as long as I'm consistently building the savings, that's what's going to help me when I'm in a bind and I need that extra money. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I created the Money Moves webinar. Like I said, you can sign it up in my bio, but the purpose of this webinar is to help give you a come to Jesus moment with yourself, to give you a time to sit down and get serious about what are you going to do and how you're going to do it. Okay. So after I did that, made my plan, decided what I was going to do, then I sat and I said, okay, in my personal opinion, the money I had left at that time after I finished getting paid, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for me. So what I needed to do is I had to go and get other money. So I picked up a side hustle. And then this is another way that we mess up. We go pick up side hustles and then we send the money to other places and we start counting on having this extra money. When I picked up a side hustle, when I say that side hustle money hit my bank account, as soon as it hit my bank account, it went right back out to whatever goal I was looking to accomplish. When I was paying off my debt, if my paycheck was $135.26, $135.26 went to my debt. And that was one of the ways. If I had an extra $5, I did a focus group or something like that to get extra money, it went straight to my debt. Because the more you continue to pay it down, the quicker you're going to get that balance paid down. And a lot of times we just don't realize and understand exactly how to go about paying this debt off. But the more debt you pay off, you give yourself an automatic pay raise, because now once you paying this debt off, now this is money that you didn't have, because this money was going to pay people off before. Now that you've paid them off, now this is money of yours you can keep. Wouldn't it be nice to keep more of your own money that you spent? I know for me personally, it was. You get tired of constantly getting paid. Like, we're not here just to pay bills and die, bro. We're here to be able to thrive, and we work hard. A lot of us have done a lot of firsts in our families. A lot of us have broken a lot of barriers and generational curses. And we want to see the fruits of that labor. We want to be able to experience it. We want to be able to take vacations. We want to be able to spend time with our family. We don't want to have to miss the big moments because we can't afford to take off work, or we can't afford to miss a day from work. We want to be able to do those things. So one of the things that's going to help you is eliminating that debt that's basically eating up your paycheck every time you get paid. So what I do, if you don't know me, my name is Nia. I drop down to earth money and home buying tips. So you can find me on pretty much every platform. And what I do is special, because I'm not coming at you to tell you, oh, well, you did this, you should have did that, or how could you do this, or you do this, I do that, I'm different. And I'm not coming at you from there. I'm coming at you like, one, stop blaming yourself and attacking yourself for making mistakes with your money. One, that's not helpful to the process. It's not helpful. And if you have any questions for any of you who are on here, wherever you are watching this, if you find yourself learning anything, make sure you hit the like and follow on whatever platform you're watching it on. But when you take the time and you spend your energy and time beating yourself up, criticizing yourself, being your own worst critic, putting yourself down, that is not productive to you. It's not productive to you. It's not productive to you getting where you need to be and doing the things that you need to do. So what I want you to understand before I hop off here, because I wanted to hop on here really quick, is that you are running a marathon. It's not a race. You're not in competition to beat somebody else to make it to the finish line first. That's not what this is about. Your only competition is you with yourself. You are working to build a better life. You're working to be able to enjoy more of your life. You're working to be able to travel more and be able to have more days just out relaxing. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we spend so much time working, we don't get a chance to enjoy any of the money. You know, we're stuck at work. If we try to take a vacation or do anything, we're worried about the money that we're missing. We're worried about the money that we're not getting. And that's affecting you, whether you believe it or not, whether you realize it or not. It is affecting you, especially mentally. Once you start to pay off that debt and get it off you don't have to see it no more. When you get paid, they don't have their hand out no more. That's going to relieve a lot of stress off of you. That's going to make you feel better mentally. That's going to make you feel better as a whole. So I feel like that's one of the things that we have to work on. So I created this webinar. The webinar is going to be on July 30th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sign up in my bio, wherever you are watching this at, wherever you see it, and get the job done. Because in order to pay off debt, one, you got to figure out, what did you do? How did you create this debt? How did you get yourself in this situation? And sometimes it might be out circumstances that are beyond your control. It might be outside influences that cause you to get that much debt. But it also might be you. It also could be something that you're doing. It also could be you having bad habits or money habits that you either picked up during your life or whatever, and then that's causing you to make these bad financial decisions. And in order for you to do better long term, you're gonna have to work on them. And that's like, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to tell you, oh, it's super easy, you could do it in a day. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give you the real. I'm here to tell you the truth. It's gonna take work. It's gonna take frustration. It's not gonna be like this. It's going to be more of a like this. You're going to do well, then you're going to mess up. You're going to do well. And that's okay, because that's what a real journey look like. That's what a realistic journey look like. We sitting here basing our lives off of somebody else's highlight reel. We've seen all their 60-second reels and their 60-second clips of what they're doing, but we're basing our behind the scenes. You can't base your behind the scenes off somebody else's highlight reel. You have to base your life off your life, because what that person has that you're watching their highlight reel might be something different. It might not even be something that you want. You hear me? So it's only going to take for you to sit down and figure out what you want in order for you to accomplish it. And if you don't sit down and take that step, so take that step. Sign up for this free webinar, July 30th. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get real. Bring your questions, bring your notebook, bring your people, let somebody else know about it. You can find the link in my bio. It's on July 30th. It's the Money Moves webinar. And that's what I'm here for. On that note, y'all, I got to go. I just wanted to come give you the quick tips on how to pay off debt. So I'm going to go over them one more time, and then I'm going to let y'all go for the day. So again, when you look into pay off debt, the first step that you're going to take is one, you're going to think about why. Your why. Why do you want to pay off this debt? What is going to benefit me about paying off this debt? How is it going to help me if I pay off this debt? Okay, that's one of the first steps you're going to take. You have to figure out your why. How is it going to benefit you? What is in it for you if you pay this debt off? The second thing you're going to do is you're going to look and start opening your mind and ears and figuring out exactly how you accumulated that debt. How did you accumulate it? Where did it come from? What habits do you have that might have helped you create that debt? What habits do you need to break so that once you get this debt paid off, you don't need to see it no more? It could be going away from your life. So you have to start to figure out what those habits are that helped you get to that point where you are. Now, that's the first two steps that you got to take. Your third step is going to be making a list of all the debt you owe, all of it. And I'm talking about every piece of debt you owe, how much you owe, what the minimum payment is, what your full balance that you owe is. And then I highly recommend you calculating how much interest is charged to that debt per month, because that's going to be very important to see, and add up how much you are paying in interest per month as a whole. Because think about it. That's going to be a lot of money that's basically leaving out the door. Now, once you have all of this written out, I need you to write a budget. I need you to create a budget. And you're creating a budget after, because now you see what the job is ahead of you. Now you got to go look at your money and see how we're going to knock this out. Okay. So you look at your budget, which is basically listing all the money that's coming in and listing all the money that goes out for your regular bills that you got to go out. If you like getting your hair done, you like getting your nails done, all of those things should go into that budget as well. Once you finish doing that, how much money do you have left? When you have money left over, this is the money you have to dedicate to that debt repayment. This is the money you have. This is your money to tell these creditors, get out your back, get out your wallet, and get out your life. Okay. Then, now that you know how much you have, is it enough? How long is it? Not, create a viable plan. So how long is it going to take you to pay it off? Because you need some timelines and some deadlines, and you need some active dates of when you want to get this done. So now you got to look at, okay, now I know how much money I have to work with every month. How long is it going to take me to get this paid off? Do I need to make any executive decisions and cut some things out of my budget temporarily so that I can accomplish this? These are the questions that you got to ask yourself. And then now that you've done this and you've created this plan, now it's time to execute. And what can I do to help me execute? So first, I'm going to take this extra money I have in my budget every month, and I'm going to put it towards my debt. If you don't have an emergency fund, I highly recommend you do some to your emergency fund, some to your debt. Once you do that, you might need to get a side hustle. You might need to pick up different side hustles. That might be something that you need to do to help you. Okay. So with that being said, you have to look at different ways that you could possibly make more money. You could go do different like Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart. You can ask for a raise. You can try to look for a promotion. You can look to earn money. You can do Rover. It's just so many options you can have to give you daycare. You see what I'm saying? You could watch other people's children, get CPR certified, things like that. If you have a good product or something you're good at, you can sell that to make extra money. there are ways that you can start to make this money. And then, of course, you also want to start reducing your costs as much as possible. So downloading apps that give you benefits and rewards, going to get your clothes from thrift stores, comparing prices before you purchase them, reading the reviews, comparing all the prices, avoiding ATM fees. So these are ways that you can get your money up, and then you will take all that money and you will dedicate it to that debt and your emergency fund. So that's all I have for you all today. I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I have somewhere to be, hence the way I'm dressed like this. So I'm going to let you all go. But this was something quick. I just wanted to go live for a quick second to give you wonderful tips about how you can pay off debt. I'll catch you all next time on the next video. Let me know if you have any additional questions, and I'm out.